It's 93.3 WMMR at the 2012 MMRBQ. I'm Piere Robert with Matt Cord and Jackie Bam Bam, and we are joined at our interview table backstage by Slash and Myles Kennedy, who have a wonderful new record called Apocalyptic Love,
wonderful.
which will be released on Tuesday. We're lucky to have them for the MMRBQ today. Welcome, you guys. Good to have you.
It's good to be here.
So nice to have you. And Slash, you're active on Twitter, and I loved one of the things that you tweeted early on. You said, "I'm so effing stoked. It sounds effing awesome." And you were listening to it in your car. And there's something great, isn't there, about listening to music in your car?
In February. Well, that's where I listen to all the, the mixes and the masters and all that stuff.
You always listen in your car?
Yeah.
While driving, or?
Yeah. Well, sometimes in my garage.
Well, I mean,
have to admit.
There's an acoustic, quality about it.
Yeah, there's something private too about your car.
Right.
But if I'm A-B'ing mixes, I'll just go down in the garage and just sit in my car and do my thing.
That's cool. Now, as I said, the album's out on Tuesday. I'd like to just run through a few other songs. We've been playing You're a Lie quite heavily on MMR, but the fifth song in I'm fond of. It's called No More Heroes, and it's one of those vehicles, I think, that so brilliantly showcases this man's incredible range of vocal talents, because in the beginning, Myles, you kind of this growly texture to your voice, and then it picks up to this whole other textural level as the song builds. Can you tell us about it? It's also one of the ones that's co-written by someone named E. Valentine, and I'm not
That's
sure.
our producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you guys tell us about that song?
He's gonna go.
Your turn.
Yeah. That song was actually it took a long time. We did it. There were a lot of different versions, like vocally and lyrically and whatnot. Real happy with how that one turned out. It was. I remember when Slash sent me the initial musical idea with the really cool guitar intro, and I really gravitated towards it for that reason. So a lot of times when you hear musical pieces that you get that attached to, you don't want to screw it up with a bad melody or lyrics. So really worked hard on that one.
I just love your ability to change vocal textures. So I saw you once backstage at Alter Bridge, and for an hour you were removed before the band took the stage, doing vocal warm-ups, the likes of which I think would impress opera singers.
Well, I think it will traumatize young children as well, because it's not very pleasing. It seriously sounds like a cat's being strangled.
Another song I love is called We Will Roam. It's got a really catchy chorus, and it appears there's another voice joining you in the chorus, but the whole vibe is really catchy on We Will Roam. You guys talk about that a bit?
I think that's Todd singing. Todd's a really good singer, and so he and Myles, he compliments Myles, like all the harmonies and all that kind of stuff, so it works out really good. But that song, probably the quirkiest song on the record. It's the hardest song to get down right, But just something, I don't know what to tell you.
That's cool. On Anastasia, the eighth song in, it opens with an acoustic guitar, which just doesn't go on terribly long, and then just jumps right into electric. What was your thinking behind that?
That it should open with acoustic. No, I mean, it's that song started out electric, and then I thought, it'd be really great if it had just sort of this moody little intro before it, and that's it.
Cool. Another one I quite like is Far and Away. It's got a different texture. Anything you'd say about that?
You know what? That one, I really like the way Eric produced it, because it's got a very Beatlesque sound, and he took the drums. Most of the drums were done in the big drum room, and he took them in this little room that actually we did a lot of the vocals in. So it's got this very kind of minimalistic sound, which I think complements that song and helps. I don't know. I personally, it's one of my favorites on the record for that reason. It's just got a really unique sound to it,
Now, Myles, you said that it was that most of this record was written on the road, and that was challenging. Can you tell us why that was challenging? Aside from the normal things of just the business of being on the road.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many hours in a day, and obviously when you're touring, you've got the show, and you've got so many things that you need to take care of. So it was one of those things where if I wasn't on the stage or warming up or doing meet and greets or whatever, I was in the back of the bus riding nonstop. But you know what? What better thing to do with your off time? You get to make music, so I'm not complaining.
One of the things about modern technology at this point, one of the bonuses was being able to, at any time of day or night, be able to record something and send it to him. It could be 5 a.m, and he could get to it at his leisure. So we just sort of wrote stuff all throughout the tour that way.
You guys have talked about the chemistry, you particularly, Slash, that exists between you. On the last record, obviously, was a lot of different singers, 2 songs with Myles, but on this, it's all Myles. and you've said that you sort of bring a musical idea and he kind of takes it from there. Is that somewhat the style that you write in?
That's how we've been doing it, you know. And he's, you know, obviously a great singer and a great melody writer, but he also plays guitar. So I leave everything very open-ended, and then he just sort of puts in whatever he thinks is going to add to it or whatever, and then puts lyrics and all that on top of that.
And do you play you're playing guitar on this tour as well, right?
A tiny bit on this tour. We actually just got Frank Sidoris, a new guitar player. He's doing a fantastic job. On the record, I play guitar, but yeah, with this, the songs are so difficult to sing. It's better just to focus solely on singing and not try and, you know, pat my head and rub my belly. Yeah, well, you can't do that.
It's actually the other way around. But.
Slash, I got to ask you about your early life. You were born in London, and your dad created album covers for various artists, ranging from some amazing, brilliant talent, Joni Mitchell to Neil Young. Did you, as a kid, enjoy observing that process?
Well, I mean, you know, way before I started playing guitar, I was always an artist. So I was raised in that environment. So I was always fascinated with any kind of graphics or illustrations and painting and all that kind of stuff. Still, I am to this day. And I design all my own shit and
cool.
band logos and all that stuff.
Did you design the current album cover?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Can you describe it for listeners?
No, you have to go get the record. I'm not describing
There's
shit.
a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Guitar with a snake and a devilish woman on one side and an angelic woman on the other side.
Yeah, that was the apocalyptic love thing. When he came up with apocalyptic love, that was the first thing that came to mind. If you know, if heaven and hell were run by women, lesbians, you know.
Did you get to meet any of the artists that your dad worked with or created art for? You know, like Neil, for example?
That's a good question. I've worked with Carole King, and I remember my parents did something with her back in the day. I don't think it was an album cover. I think my mom did some clothes for her.
Because your mom designed clothing for the likes of artists like David Bowie.
Yeah, a lot of different artists. A lot of TV and personalities as well, like Flip Wilson, if you remember him. Yeah.
Wow.
Bill Cosby and whatever his wife's name was, I forgot.
On the Cosby Show, you mean?
No, his real wife.
His real wife. I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, and a lot of music. Remember Sylvester?
Certainly.
She did Sylvester. And
he had some great
Sylvester
stuff.
gave me my first rat.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
did you get to which Neil albums did your dad design? Do you know?
Crazy Horse.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's excellent. Now, in terms of your parents, both of you, I would just ask you, were your parents encouraging Myles to a musical career? Certainly, I would think Slash's were.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, my mom kind of forced my hand initially to start playing trumpet. She wanted me to have some sort of musical education in some way. So I attribute a lot of that to her.
And trumpet is where you
Trumpet.
began?
I started with the trumpet.
Would you ever break one out now?
Yeah, today we're going to break one out.
Whoa.
We're going to do the Earth, Wind, and Fire medley today.
And Slash, your parents must have been very encouraging.
Yeah, my parents were supportive. I mean, I think my mom was just happy. She figured playing an instrument would probably keep me out of trouble, you know, because prior to that I was racing BMX and I was hanging out with a pretty bad group of guys and getting arrested a lot. So I picked up the guitar and it was very peaceful for a minute until I started a band and it was the same shit.
I was watching the rebroadcast last night of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. Myles, great job.
Thank you.
I mean, really nice. But Slash, was it weird, or did it feel like you were a GNR playing again with Matt and Gilby and Steven and Duff? I mean, I know you had like apprehensions going into doing it.
No, it was cool. It was cool to play with Steven. I think that was the first time I played a Guns N' Roses song with Steven in 20 years. And but it felt like what it was. You know, it didn't feel like all of a sudden GNR reformed or anything like that. It felt like those of us that showed up and were there for that particular occasion, and it was really cool. It's hard to explain.
No, I was going to wonder if that will ever happen again.
No.
You said
That was
you,
it. That
you
shut
felt
the book
closure
on that,
from
yeah.
it. I read that you, in a
He was
recent
just trying
interview...
to get me to say it.
No.
I see him.
No, but I mean...
I got no more questions.
you said you had felt a closure as a
Yeah,
result of
there
that.
was something about it that just is very cathartic.
I like I think you kissed Duff at the very end of it.
What now?
You gave Duff a nice little kiss at the very end of it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Slash, congratulations on that, Myles. Great job. And speaking of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, what was it like when you found out that Etta James covered "Welcome to the Jungle"? That had to be
That what?
Etta James covering "Welcome to the Jungle."
Yeah.
She did?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Amazing.
no, you know what? I found out about it. I haven't actually. No, you know what? I did hear it. I looked it up. I googled it. Yeah, because I thought it was a huge honor that Etta James did "Welcome to the Jungle." It's a very, very different version, and I know how that works. They feed artists songs and here, try this and try that and so on. But it's still very cool. It's fucking Etta James,
She knocked it down to 3.5 minutes, and
Yeah.
And you've
Took
speaking
the
of
guitar
the greats,
solos out. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the greats in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you worked with Kid Rock on the Jerry Lee Lewis album, I believe.
Yeah.
Did you
yeah.
do that?
He was on my last record.
And I got to ask you, because I'm a big Rolling Stones fan, so is Matt and Piere. Your connection with Ronnie Wood, where did that come from?
Well, I mean, I met Ronnie through Seymour Cassell back in the day. Seymour Cassell's an actor, and Seymour was my best friend's dad, and we used to ditch school and hang out at his house, and it was a little shady up there. Anyway, but the Stones guys used to come up a lot when they were in town, and that's where I first met Ronnie, and I've just been friends with him ever since. And Ronnie's awesome.
And you were on that Far East Man, his DVD. You did a lot with Ronnie, right? You were on his Far East Man DVD.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a lot of recording. Actually, we were recording my last record at the same time he was doing his record, so I would go up to his session, then go back to my session, and shit like that.
And real quick, can I ask you? You said Michael Jackson. You wanted to sing or do a little piece on your new album before he passed.
Well,
Is that true?
it would have been a cool thing to do,
In terms of your set today, how will you balance the material? You've got Velvet Revolver stuff, you've got solo stuff, you've got GNR stuff. How do you balance it? How do you figure it out? And how much new stuff up from the new record will you put in?
Well, I mean, we're just sneaking new stuff in now, and from the set that we were doing last year, we have certain songs that we like to do from all the different bands, so we focus on those. And right now, we only have a 50-minute set today, so we just sort of pick and choose what's going to be the most, the most exciting in that short amount of time.
Last year, incidentally, Myles, was the first time Mark Tremonti told me that you did a guitar duel with him. It happened here at the MMRBQ last year. Was the first time you guys had tried that out.
That's true.
He's a phenomenal guitar player.
I know that.
And has won awards for guitar.
No, I get guitar lessons from him.
Really?
Yeah, because
He's shaking his head.
Ridiculous.
He's a really great guitar player, but technically he knows way more than I do. And so I'll hear him playing something. I'm like, how'd you do that?
You're
So,
shaking
yeah,
your
it
head.
happens.
He's so
Yeah,
lying
and
now.
not to mention, he's a technical guitar player, but he's also very soulful at the same time, which is rare.
Well, and he's also a very nice guy. So we thank you both. Myles, great to see you again.
It's good to see you, Piere.
And Slash, thank you so much.
All
and
right,
thank
man.
you both for
Yeah, it's
being
good
part
seeing you.
of
Oh,
the
yeah.
MMRBQ
Good
job, guys.
this year.
Thank you.
Have a great gig.
All right, let's go jam.
Could we get you to do a station ID?
Just do the top one.
Just the top one. Just size Slash and Myles.